The Department of Homeland Security doesn't like that ICE is being compared to the Gestapo. In fact, they say that that comparison is absolutely sickening. They're so upset by it, in fact, they posted this press release on their website saying that while politicians like Governor Walz fight to protect criminal illegal aliens, ICE officers will continue risking their lives to arrest murderers, kidnappers, and pedophiles. Then they show us these really scary pictures of people that they've taken into custody while also listing the crimes that they allegedly committed. Wow, good job, ICE. Pat yourselves on the back, but you know that's not why you're being called the Gestapo. Let's talk about the actual reasons. Like the fact that of the 238 migrants that you guys sent to be held over in a foreign gulag in El Salvador, a majority of them had no apparent criminal record. You guys sent innocent people to be held in a foreign gulag. That's some Gestapo shit. When you guys were arresting and then sending people to be held in Guantanamo Bay's migrant detention center known as GMOC, you guys said you guys were sending the worst of the worst, only for it to come out that actually a large portion of the people sent there were low-risk migrants, meaning they had no criminal background, their only alleged crime being that they were allegedly in the country undocumented. That's some Gestapo shit. Wait, you guys are going after the kidnappers, right? Except that without a warrant, you arrested a man and threatened him with deportation for participating in protests against what is happening to the people in Gaza right now, a violation of his First Amendment rights. At the same time, you sent plainclothed, masked officers to arrest a woman simply for co-authoring an op-ed in support of Palestine, another flagrant violation of a person's First Amendment rights. That's some Gestapo shit. That's also some kidnapper shit. Y'all kidnapped those people. Or let's talk about your detention center in Georgia where a whistleblower, a nurse that works at the facility, came out and exposed the fact that migrant women being held at this facility were being given medical procedures without their knowledge and thus without their consent, including hysterectomies, leaving many of these women sterile. That's some Gestapo shit. Or let's talk about the Adelanto facility in California and frankly every other ICE detention center in the United States and the fact that the migrants being held there are subject to medical neglect. In one of these facilities, the dental neglect was to the point that some of these migrants actually had their teeth fall out. Or let's talk about the fact that various ICE detention centers in the country during COVID exposed detainees to hazardous chemicals because these chemicals were not being appropriately diluted, if diluted at all, leading to many of these detainees suffering serious medical side effects. ICE's flagrant disregard for the health and safety of detainees in their custody at their detention centers is some Gestapo shit. And you guys are going after pedophiles, right? But given some of the news that comes out of some of these detention centers, you'd think that you were actually recruiting them into your ranks. Hundreds of migrants have reported sexual abuse at ICE facilities. Most cases aren't investigated. Some of these cases involve minors. The abuse and conditions that migrants are being subjected to is something that I've actually written about already on my Patreon, 100% free, in this article, Concentration Camp USA, Abuse of Migrants in ICE Detention and Why Migrants Being Held at GMOC is Concerning. I wrote this article when they first started sending people to Guantanamo Bay, but I talk about a lot of older cases. For example, the fact that migrants were being exposed to dangerous chemicals, hysterectomies being performed on women in ICE detention without their consent, without their knowledge, as well as other incidents of abuse and neglect at ICE facilities. So if you're interested in learning more about that topic, go check it out. And I just want to say to the ICE agents who are upset at being compared to the Gestapo, why? You are the Gestapo. It's an accurate comparison. You've been the Gestapo since Obama. You've been the Gestapo since Trump's first term. You've been the Gestapo since Biden, and you continue to be the Gestapo today.